From the BBC World Service, in association with ABC and Akashvani, this is Stumped.
Hello, I'm Alison Mitchell and welcome to the final Stumped of 2023. It's been a momentous year for cricket. Australia were crowned champions of the men's 50-over World Cup. The first Women's Premier League in India was launched. Cricket was confirmed as an Olympic sport for the LA Games in 2028. And we had truly dramatic endings to the men's and women's Ashes series. Both series were drawn, meaning the Aussies retained the men's urn and the women's trophy. We'll take you from Lords to Mumbai, from Australia to Afghanistan. But first, we'll start by looking back at a powerful interview with South Africa's Sinalo Jafta. Now, she's an international wicketkeeper who went from checking into rehab for alcohol abuse to lifting a runners-up medal at the Women's T20 World Cup against Australia. Now, Jafta considered walking away from cricket at the age of just 27 and began addiction treatments just 4 months before the T20 World Cup began. Sinalo chose Stumped as the place to tell her story, and she began by telling me when it was she realised she had a drinking problem. And as a warning, this interview references alcohol abuse and mental health issues.
I think for me, the online abuse was just like a straw, like the final straw. But I think it started way back when I think I was first year in university. I think that's actually when the drinking started, like, you know, hockey fines, because I played hockey. And I thought it was just having fun. And then you just literally fast forward a few years and it was literally just for me to cope. I was drinking whether I was upset, whether I was happy, it just became, and I remember in my 1 year share a week ago, I was like, drinking just became, it wasn't fun anymore. It just felt as a necessity. Like literally every emotion I felt, I was like, cool, let me just drink on it.
I've played hockey at university as well. I sort of know that social environment. It can be a bit peer pressured environment as well at times. But at what point did you realise that it was a problem for you?
If we literally backtrack it to 2 years ago, just straight out of COVID, I think that's when I realised for myself personally, before anyone else could tell me, I was like, this is becoming a daily thing. Whereas before it used to be a weekend thing. And I just remember just before the team flew out to Ireland last year, the team doctor came to me and was like, Jeff, I think you have a problem. And I was like, but doc, what are you talking about? This is just fun. You know, it's like the typical life of an athlete. When you're not playing, it's my downtime. But my downtime kind of like prolonged even longer. And, you know, I had teammates coming to me saying, Jeff, if you don't stop, you're going to mess up your career. But I think I was too far gone to even care. Right. You know, like for me, it was like I needed to have that drink for me to cope with whatever challenges I'd face. And, you know, this New Zealand series we just had, I celebrated my year in sobriety. So it was pretty cool to actually be surrounded with the same people that kind of like shed light to my alcoholism. Because for me, it was like, what are you talking about? I'm just having fun. And yeah, so if I literally just backtrack, I think it was like a long process. It just, at that time, it was when I just couldn't.
Could you tell that it was affecting your cricket specifically, or is that where your teammates came in to tell you that it was having an adverse effect?
You know, we call it a disease. It's such a funny thing. If I look back now, the signs were always there. But for me, it was like, what are you talking about? I'm benching, not because I'm benching because you don't like me. It was always like a finger pointing to that specific person. And I ended up resenting a few of like the coaching staffs, even the players, like you in the way of me actually playing a game. So I ended up resenting my teammates where it had nothing to do with them. And I failed to see that actually. And in October, I actually had an intervention with the management. I had a meeting. They're like, Jeff, what's going on? I was like, guys, it feels like I'm in a hole and I just can't get out. And I think that was for me, that point where I was like, okay, cool. I know that now I actually have a problem. And even I was very reluctant to go to treatment. I thought I was going to go to this 5-star psychiatric resort. That was what was happening. The team doctor sent me a link and I was like, rehab? What am I going to do in rehab? I'm not alcoholic. Well, I don't think I am. And I think entering rehab, it was brutal. But yeah, I was supposed to spend 21 days. I ended up doing 2 months. So yeah, I realized right off the bat there, I was like, okay, cool. I'm the problem, no one else. So let me now that I've got this opportunity, let me sort it out. So yeah.
Do you have the support you needed then from, say, Cricket South Africa, that you felt once you're able to talk about it or have that little nudge that the support was there to get you where you needed to be?
think after that intervention with the management, the team doctor was like to me, I'll call you back in 3 hours because I think I know what's going on. And I mean, she knew a long time. It's just in my head. She only figured it out then. And I remember she sent me the link, obviously, but um, then she was like, we're giving you 2 months medical leave. And then now connecting the dots, I'm like, but I have a World Cup, I have this. But in actual retrospect, I didn't have those things because I was so far gone. So for me to actually think that I could get to a World Cup, for me, realistically, I was like, nah, I'm not going to make it. And I remember when I said to Doc, but Doc, I'm only coming out in December. World Cup is in Feb. How am I going to be fit enough? And, I was like, cool. My medical aid covered 21 days. So I was like, I'll do the 21 days. But Cricket South Africa gave me 2 months medical leave. And, the support from them was probably one that I never expected because I was like, yo, I've screwed it up bad. That's what I was thinking. I was like, there's no chance they're going to give me another chance. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. So I walked in there saying, okay, cool, to revive my career, I'm going to take 21 days, come out. But after 4 days, I was like, I've already lost the career. So let's just do what I have to do so I can actually live a longer life afterwards. So in my mind, I didn't have cricket. I was just thinking to save my life because there's more to life than just cricket. So that's what was my mentality. And then when I came out of treatment, they're like, okay, cool, you have a job. I was like, huh? Yeah, that was the reaction because I was radio silent the whole time. They took my phone, they took everything. So the only time I could communicate to Doc was every Thursday for 5 minutes to just say, okay, cool, Doc, I'm doing okay. That's it. And then on Sundays was to my family. Yeah.
What was rehab like, if you're able to put it into words, I suppose?
I probably had the best housemates. It was a couple of us, and they gave me the love that I needed, not the one that I wanted. Very cutthroat, very honest. I kind of learned that earlier on in rehab. I was very selfish and self-centered, and I kind of had to accept that because I'm here now. I'm not there with my teammates at a national camp, so that was out of my own doing. So I couldn't point fingers to anyone. And the only way was to be like, okay, cool, I've messed that up. How can I'll now live a longer life and a longer lifespan? That was literally all that was in my mind. It was like, if I have cricket, cool. If I don't have cricket, cool. Because at the end of the day, it's not up to me. With God's timing is everything, and He had my back.
You've said the words a couple of times that the rehab was about saving your life. Is that something that's talked about in rehab, or actually how low did you get? Did you ever get sort of that low that actually you felt that your own life was at risk?
After the Commonwealth Games, I think that's when it literally intensified. As soon as I got back home, I was like, I think I was in such a bad sense. Like I couldn't figure it out. Like I was in such a bad place that I really didn't care. I even said in my 1 year share last week, I was actually drinking to die at that point because I felt like I had nothing to give.
This was because of online abuse that you were getting?
Not really. I don't know what it was because I think I was so far gone, and also my mind was also telling me that there's no way out of this. And then you go on social media, you read something like, oops, proves me right. It was always those things, and sometimes I always want to just go online and just answer them, but integrity wise I don't think I can, because sometimes I was like, what gives you the right? You don't know what I go through on a day-to-day, and typically for the same athlete, because I'm not the only one. They joke about it in the change room, and I'm like, it's really savage stuff that they say, and sometimes I really just want to know what gives you the confidence to actually talk about someone like that when you don't even know where they're from.
That was the South Africa wicketkeeper Senalo Jafta. Now, the men's 50-over World Cup saw Pat Cummins' Australia crowned champions in a remarkable final against India. But it's fair to say that this was a tournament of surprises. And for many, it was Afghanistan who you could say were the story of the tournament. While women's cricket remains banned in the country by the ruling Taliban, the Afghan men won 4 matches at the World Cup against defending champions England, against Sri Lanka, Pakistan and the Netherlands. And as a result, they've cemented their place in the Champions Trophy in 2025. We were joined by their assistant coach, Rais Ahmedzai, who told us how cricket for the men started in the country.
I'm part of that refugee players that we learn cricket in the refugees camp. So not in big cities. We will playing all the refugees Afghan players playing a tennis ball cricket there. Once we come back, we start professional cricket in Afghanistan with the proper cricket ball, with zero kind of facilities. And I think it was a very good journey. Start like sometimes I'm saying it was from zero to hero. There was nothing with us, and now we are the team that everyone can talk about. Afghanistan team. So it's just because of talent, because of passion, and we have very strong support now from the whole nation.
Yeah, the famous book and film I remember, Out of the Ashes, charting your journey from that through to the T20 World Cup in 2010, where Afghanistan made its first appearance, and you featured in that as well. Now in 2023, I mean, has the batting made a big difference? I mean, of course, there's also Ahmed Noor, for example, took 3 wickets on his debut, who seems a very special player. Where has the biggest difference come?
Like as I say, we are very lucky that we have a natural talent. Still, we are very far behind from the from cricket facilities like the other countries have, like Bangladesh or Sri Lanka. Not compared with Australia or England or South Africa or New Zealand, but still very far behind from Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, or Pakistan. But one thing we have, we want to play cricket, and our players have a natural talent. You mentioned Noor Ahmed, he played with me in 2002 Under 19 World Cup. When I saw first time him, I believe him that one day he will be a superstar. And he played before that match. He played lots of franchise cricket. And batting-wise, skills-wise, we are some good players. Ibrahim Zadran came from the under 19. He started cricket in Afghanistan. Gurbaz started cricket in Afghanistan. So that means our system is going very well. And the time will become, and I'm sure we will have some great batsmen in future.
Now, back in March, Charu was lucky enough to travel to Mumbai for the long-awaited inaugural Women's Premier League. He witnessed there the Mumbai Indians making history, winning the first edition of the tournament. Charu sat down with former Australia captain and Delhi Capitals skipper Meg Lanning to talk about the competition, and he asked her just how it compares to other leagues around the world.
Oh, it's on another level. It's been a pretty cool experience, just embracing it all. There's been a lot happening. It's been obviously put together in a short space of time, but it's been really well put together. And for me, coming over here, I just wanted to embrace, what India brings and what the WPL brings as well. And I think it's certainly been next level to anything else I've experienced, both in the way it's been set up and also the fan engagement. There's been some really good crowds, and it's also had quite a nice relaxed feel to it as well. I feel like you can really enjoy your cricket over here and really just take in everything that comes with it, and that's something I've tried to do.
Now, in June, Jim, Sunil and I came together to present Stumped from the home of cricket, from Lords. In an Ashes special, we were joined by the former Australia opener and coach Justin Langer, who told us what it was like facing his first ball at the ground when he was a player.
Well, actually, there's something that a lot of people don't recognise, and you should watch it when the Lords Test comes on. It's different to every other ground I ever played on. And I was lucky to face the first ball of the Ashes in 2005. Harmison's at the pavilion end. His heart's pumping, my heart's pumping. And I'm batting up. And what generally happens is the bowler runs in to bowl the first ball and the crowd starts roaring. You can hear the whistling and you can hear the shouting and you can hear the banging. And it's sort of like infectious because you're getting the adrenaline and you're pumping. Come on, come on. And this time, though, Harmison starts and the whole crowd went silent. It is the most bizarre thing at Lords. The first ball is complete silence. And it was tangible. It was like deathly silent. And he runs in and it was like, this is weird, because you could hear the silence, as stupid as that sounds. Anyway, Harmison runs in, bowls this first ball, flies past my nose. Geraint Jones takes it above his head. And I still remember Ian Bell, I think, was at Padma Ewa, and he starts walking towards me. The slips are starting to walk towards me. Harmison ends up about as close to me as this microphone. And Matty Hayden walks down and goes, "Mate, be ready, little fella. These guys are switched on. They're on." I said, "Yeah." And the next ball, I got hit on the elbow and it blew up. Thankfully for adrenaline, I did not feel it. But adrenaline, and then that first hour... No, nothing. And Then Matty Hayden got hit on the helmet, probably the first time I ever saw him get hit on the helmet. And then Ricky Ponting got hit under the eye, or this eye, and still bears the scar today. And that all happened in that first hour. It was the best hour of cricket I've ever played in, and I still remember, like 18 years later, I still remember the silent first ball. After that, everyone got loud again. But that silent first ball of law was the most weird experience.
Well, Langer certainly gives you a sense of the drama of an Ashes in England there, doesn't he? And the 2023 Ashes was no different, with each test bringing drama and a whole heap of talking points. In the end, both the men's and women's Ashes were drawn, meaning Australia retained their respective trophies. But it was England fast bowler Stuart Broad who stole the headlines by the end of the men's Ashes as he announced his retirement in the final test at the Oval. After 17 years, Broad finished on 847 wickets, 604 of them taken in tests. On Stumps, we were joined by his England teammate, Ollie Pope, who told us what it was like playing with him.
It's been amazing. I mean, I remember when I came into the team, I'd only played, I think, 13, 14 first-class games. And I remember, all you do when you're sort of 19, 20 is you hear of these guys, Jimmy, Broady, I wonder what they're going to be like. I hope they welcome me into the team. And I think at the start, those guys see players come and go throughout their career. So they obviously know how to sort of introduce a player. But I think especially over the last 3 years, Jimmy and Broady have been, I think for guys like me and Zach, I think, because those guys almost peaked in their 30s, and but they played since 20. They became the top of their game, and they realised what they need to do to be successful when they got older. And it's like they just wanted us to just relax, enjoy the week, and that's exactly what sort of Brendan and Stokesy have allowed us to do even more. But Broady's always been such a good teammate in that you can tell how much he wants the success of you as a young player, and obviously being a good pal of his, it's like he just really wants you to do well. Especially, I think for me and Zach over the few years that we've been playing with him, and whether he can sort of just take us for a round of golf, say just chill out the day before, and those kind of things. But so that's been part of what's been amazing. But and also I think we sit in the corner at Lords next to each other. We always sort of look at each other and we go, what a corner this is. And we always talk about it being a really good week. And he's just sort of when Broady speaks, he's not always someone that speaks in a team environment. But when he does, people are sort of holding on to every single word that he says, because he's obviously got so much experience and knowledge of the game. So that if he's speaking, he's grabbing the whole room, which is another great skill in itself.
Finally then, on our Best of Stumped 2023, we're going to go right back to January, where I witnessed history being made. At Sydney's SCG, the first statue in the world of a female cricketer was unveiled, and it was someone who captained Australia for 12 years, won 2 ICC World Cups, and played 134 times for her country. It was, of course, Belinda Clark, and she joined us to share how it felt a week on to be recognised in that way.
Life's just returned to normal, which has been really nice. I was, it was a year of preparation of getting to that point, and then all of a sudden it's on the doorstep. So it sort of took me by surprise, and I was just thrilled that my family could be part of it. That was probably the bit that was most, I look back fondly on.
Where did it come from, that image we have of you playing an action shot?
Yeah, so there's a couple of shots that she sort of melded into this one, and I think initially she created some little statues. They were little, about 10 centimeters high, and she took photos of them from 3D and said, "Look, I've got 3 photos that I think will work, or 3 sort of poses." And then we talked about it, and we chose the one that was the most adventurous, quite deliberately, and. It sort of started to take form, and I played a pretty traditional way, particularly early on in my career, and I probably got more expansive the longer I played. And so this shot was sort of at the back end of the career, trying to slog one over mid wicket. Traditionally, if I think of myself about where did I score most of my runs, I'd probably through cover. Backward point, mid off. This was something that sort of came. I worked really hard on creating a leg side game, so I was quite proud of the fact that we found an image that had something in it that I had to work really hard to obtain, which was this bit more expansive game over the leg side.
Well, that's it for our Best of Stumped from 2023. A huge thanks to all of you for keeping us company throughout the year on the BBC World Service and here on the BBC World Service's YouTube channel. We look forward to speaking to you and seeing you again next year. But in the meantime, from the whole of the Stumped team and me, bye-bye for now and a Happy New Year.